Hey guys, this is a pre-recorded game. We're playing against Maximus Phallus, so um yeah, he's got a quite the name. I don't know who if he's the second encounter or not, but he is a Conqueror, and we're doing a classic with the Mongol there. So I was kind of I want to replay this one just so you guys can kind of see some of the thought processes and kind of go. Um, this matchup against Mongols is really important to your nodes, especially if they are going to go dark. You want to scout across your opponent. We just see a couple sheep, so we can. And our TC is protecting our Ubu here. We probably could have moved it over just to scope okay? Fully protected. And a dark age aggression map. Because I won't have villagers nearby, they're going to protect it. And I'm going to scout his base, and then depending on what I see here, we'll take a group of 5 villagers and chop either 50 more wood or go for fast age up. So we see he's chopped all of his wood. We drop our scouting falcon and we see the barracks. So this is a dark age rush. So now we have to pull more villagers onto wood and kind of react from here. His Khan runs around. And we're going to grab our extra 50 wood here. And this is where it gets kind of funky, like in terms of how you defend this. Honestly, I probably could have dropped like a tower here, but then he can drop a tower up here. So don't stress too much about where you drop your tower. And honestly, against Mongols, I guess most civs just dropping a tower is enough to stop any Dark Age aggression because they're usually not tower rushing you. Most people aren't dropping a tower with a Dark Age aggression. But in this case, I still think it's worth dropping an outpost, but you do have to have some okay micro and get some value out of this thing. And I actually do a really, really bad job, and I get very bad value out of my tower. So we're just running around. We see he's got 8 sheep, and we've got 6, so we're a little bit behind his sheep count. But I'm not too worried about it. We're going to pull an extra villager onto gold early, just to make sure we have enough to age up. As well as maybe a unit. And we get our tower. And now it's all about how we're going to kind of play this. So we're going to go to fast stage 2 and try to get a range out to deal with his spearmen as soon as possible. I'm going to keep scouting here, finish scouting the map, and we spot his spearmen here. He aggroes us. We're able to get some damage onto that spearman. And and this is why I like to put the tower on the gold. Because I can kind of micro and do some stuff here. And so what we're going to try to do here is draw his spearman into aggro while we get burn down damage on the tower. I probably need to garrison a second villager here instead of just one. You can see the tower. The tower is doing some damage to his spearman, but it's not great damage. And his tower is, starting to tap up. It's getting to the point right now. There's a second set of spears, so second set of spears. It's not worth sticking around here. We did get some extra damage in. Overall, not a great situation, but we should be able to defend this tower with a villager. And so we do kind of mess up here, not leaving a villager. Just to maintain the position here, right? We do spot his villager going around the south to go after our next gold, which we kind of figured he was going to do. So we garrison here real quick. And we just pull all of these vills, and this is a mistake again. We just need to leave one vill here, tap it up, repair it, hit H2, we can get an upgrade on this thing. And instead what happens is we pull our vills, we're late. We do stop his village dropping a tower on this gold. And we're gonna get some damage here, but we're gonna be too late to repair this outpost. And it's not just like late to the repair, it's like late to the whole situation here, because we're not only late, we lose a villager, and then we try to do a little bit of micro here, a little bit of shuffle of villagers, and we just lose the other villager. So right there we probably could have done a better job of just garrisoning with our villager and keeping that tower up and going. So, you know, a bit of a mistake. It would have been good to have perhaps an extra villager here. So this is a lot of negative value, not just a little bit, right? It's a tower, his plus 50 resources from burn down, as well as 2 villagers down. So we're pretty massively behind at this point. The only plus is that we are taking a bit of initiative in terms of like feudal rage aggression here. So we're gonna go across the map to where we think his gold is, which is over here. Or at least that's where we're pretty sure it was. Like just looking at this base layout, you know, he spawns here, stone, gold. We're able to deny these spearmen, and just a delayed timing on our AGUP means that this outpost is going to be able to go up. Drop a tower here just in case he gets active on his spearmen. And it's kind of unfortunate because this tower's on our front deer as well. Either way, yeah, we're gonna try to find some aggression here. So what we decide to do is get a little bit of aggro on these guys, and then what I'm doing is bringing a villager across, right? And what we do is we see this Khan and react to the Khan to kill a Khan. And if I had left my couple of villagers here, this tower doesn't go up here, right? If I left my Khan and like 2 Mangadite and sent like 1 Mangadite to this Khan hunter to deal with that Khan, that would have been great. But instead I sent everything. And now this tower that I'm going to go drop in his cold is useless because I see the 2 towers and I'm like, oh shit. So I'll take this villager and we're going to go drop a tower, maybe run onto his other woodline is what we're thinking. But we do try to drop it here first. We're kind of inside the range. We'll get +1. And then the tower starts hitting our villager. We react a little bit late. And the 3rd villager down. So this is like probably the worst start you could do with Mongols here. Just not reacting to this the best, not microing it correctly, you know, not setting this up further enough far enough away, not denying this tower getting built, you know. So these little details that definitely add up. So now we kind of know that he's going fast castles to play, so we just gotta harass where we can. So we're gonna go into his wood line, and we're sending another villager, but this villager is gonna go drop a market down here. Okay. So the thing is, he's gonna be secured and hunkered down, and he's done a good amount of eco damage. So we need to start scaling our eco with some trade, and we need to start doing some damage here. Right, he's starting to tap up right now, and we see this as well. So we just have to harass his woodline as much as we can. Make sure he doesn't get a lot of production buildings up. We know he's got a barracks up, but we're expecting it to be only production. He drops another range, so this is kind of our window to do damage. Okay, here's the villager we're going to send across to go tower his woodline. And at this point, we know to we call all the villagers to build a quick stable here, because if he's committing to this, he's not got any army out. He's got these 2 towers. We might be able to dive and get some pressure on his gold, and as long as we delay his gold as much as possible, we'll be in okay spot. This is unfortunate, the aggro from the freaking TC pulled us in afterwards, so we lose 2 Megadeth for no reason here because this game's aggro system is really delayed. Like, you can run out of it, the TC hits you out of range, and it registers so late that like a full second, 2 seconds after you basically pause, it pulls you back into aggro. So we got this army down here, kind of moving into position. We're building our spearman now, or we're going to try to build our tower here. He's up at castle. He's dropping double range. And we do see the spearman, or the archer out here. So we have to be careful about how we drop this tower. It's a really risky move. What I end up doing is probably playing way too greedy. So I probably should have just dropped it here in the back and just played safe. But it doesn't have great range in the back, and that's kind of an issue. So we have 1 stable, 2 stables now, and so the idea is just to mass up, get pressure over here on his wood line, force him to make archers. Making archers while we're making cav is great for us. You see, we're trying to deny this northern half and force a fight down here. This is super greedy. So if we switch sides right now, we are just barely out of range, right? Like barely. Like 1 unit steps over here, we're screwed. So that's why we're trying to encourage a fight down here. So I mean, maybe there's some logic to it. This is a really bad thing with my traders. This is not good. And yeah, his con spots this out. We deny the tower so he doesn't get a bounty at least, but we're gonna lose another villager. So this is just 5 villagers down, and most of it's just from my own mistakes. Yeah, the majority is just bad mistakes. That being said, we're not super behind on eco, and we're not even like heavy on traders, right? We got 1 trader, so he's been idling his TC quite a bit. So thankfully, because of that, we were able to kind of stay in it a little bit more. And we have been sniping woodline villagers here, right? It's not like we're not doing any damage here. We are getting some damage in, because basically he has to determine and guess which side we're coming from at any given time, right? So over here he's got the 2 towers, but he's only got a couple villagers. So not a lot of villagers on gold, which tells me he's maybe going man-at-arms, just going to go archer transition. He's not looking for techs or nothing really heavy. And we just have to avoid this fight as much as possible while putting pressure on him down here. And so that's what we're going to keep doing. And we delivered a miss micro here. We accidentally hit the deer. And then over here, I don't think we're able to get anything, but there's a horseman, which isn't great, but we do confirm that he's still on not many villagers at gold. And we see men at arms, so it makes us think archers. You know, we know he's making archers, and he's going to make a little bit of front line for them too. Especially since he's so light on gold. A little bit of a mistake here, sending these units over. They're just sniping another villager. So at this point, even though we played really bad, and we were very far behind on our opener, we're able to kind of harass our way back into like a decent position here. Con going for some long range sniping. We just gotta avoid this fight, right? And we're just gonna mass up cav. We're super heavy on wood right now, so this is really important that in part for our boom, but in part to just maintain our opponent in his base. Like, we're super heavy on wood, so we need to keep our opponent in his base. If he masses units, instead of having 19 on wood, we'd be in a much worse spot. Though I guess that 19 on wood, a lot of it is for archers, so we're able to reestablish our our front deer. We cleaned up the deer up to the north, and we're just gonna look to harass. And we do have some towers starting to go up on our trade line, which is big. Forward position lets us know what our opponent's doing, where they're raiding and whatnot. And you can see, in terms of resources per minute, we're about the same here. A little bit further behind him, especially with this big deer transition. But now we are an eco, a little bit of eco ahead. and that's because we are on 2 traders now. So we've been able to pull up a little bit of damage here, right? A little bit of harass, a little bit of idling. We force this down here, we dive down here, and we don't get, I think, any villager kills, but we do take out some men-at-arms, which isn't huge, but especially losing, I think, 2 Keshiks. 2 Keshiks and a horseman. It's probably not worth it overall, but it is nice to be able to force some idle here on basically the entirety of his wood line. And killing his front line is actually a pretty important thing when he's all archers, right? Because we're building the counter for it, and that's going to keep him in on his side of the map without a front line, right? We get an upgrade on this tower, so we're just going to have to fall back. I think, yeah, we do lose a Con Hunter here, which is unfortunate, because I thought it was a Mangadai loss. I didn't realize it was my Con Hunter. Just a little bit of a mistake. But behind this now, you can see we're kind of getting ready to go castle, right? We're starting to ramp up our stuff. We're getting more production buildings down because you need production buildings to really pump out a bunch of army and do stuff. And we're doing what we can here. This Khan shows up, so we're gonna aim move on this Khan here. And we're just gonna look for aggression here. And we're gonna go into this wood line with our Mangadai, because now that his wood line has moved, we should be able to get onto it here. And so we catch his army rotating to our trade line, and we're able to catch on to his villagers here though. So a couple of villagers killed, which is nice. But we have to kind of fall out of this, right? Can't stick around. And we kill a couple spearmen as well, so it's a pretty good trade for us. And his army kind of sits back. He's not able to fully push here, right? And this is where we've cut unit production and we're going up to Kurultai, and we're pulling a lot of wood villagers to do this, as well as our food villagers. So we're going to be really starved for resources, but we have a pretty decent sized army here. This isn't a great fight, but it's not a bad fight either. It keeps his mass down. We're going to take quite a bit of damage. It's not a winning fight, like we're not going to win this, but we're going to do an okay job in keeping the mass down. You know, maybe that's a fight we need to avoid taking. Towers up along the entirety of the trade line as well is very nice. And we're starting to pull ahead in terms of eco. And we need this as well because we're getting good damage. But when this army came, these traders did not need to go commit. These were fine to go running, and these guys are going to go fight. But these traders probably didn't need to commit. I mean, the extra 100 resources is going to be nice here. The extra 100 gold is going to be really nice. It's helping us get all the upgrades. Maybe it was worth it. Tough to say. By now, our villagers are heavy on the food. And we do have some pastures set up. And the idea is just to hold out long enough. We do pull back this trader. This is definitely not worth it. So, we still have a slight eco edge. We do see that he's picking up relics on the map. We can just tell on the mini-map that things are getting picked up. We just have to be careful here. Our I think is also run out. No, it's not. But we have a ton of stone, so we should be trying to use that, but I guess we just don't have good gold production right now. And he masses his entirety of his army here, but it's all archers, right? So this is the thing. We know we've been picking off his front line, and we are set up to counter him. We've got 5 stables up at the moment. A couple in the back here, which can be beneficial, but this is the issue, right? Losing free horsemen, right? It's never good. And what we do is we take our Mangadai, and we're just gonna keep harassing his wood line, right? So we knew he was on this wood. We get a really lucky timing because we catch him dropping an outpost, and we would commit a fight there. He pulls his army back, which is fine. We probably could have doubled back on this a little bit sooner. And we're just gonna try to sneak a couple kills here while we mess up the cavalry ball at home, right? Snipe 1 and snipe 2, and then we'll just leave, right? So a good trade, and we might get a spearman on top of it. So it's been a rough game, but we've kind of reestablished ourselves here. Gone back into a decent spot. We do need to get superior mobility because we do have our Cognate Palace, or I mean our Kurultai. There's the superior mobility coming through. Traders are up to 7, and the big thing is we are on 3 markets too, so it's not like taking damage is gonna suck on our trade line, but we're able to ramp it back up fairly quickly. And Kurultai on the trade line is pretty nice here too. So we're getting our Mangadai upgrades finally. We haven't gotten our +1, +2. Our gold is just in a really rough spot. Or we're just gonna heal up. And we're just gonna crank out Horsemen. Yes, a lot of Keshik mixed in here too, about 50-50. The big thing is just keep pumping units here, even if they're not gold units. And so he starts pushing forward on our deer. We have garrisoned our villages here on the deer. And he's dropping rams. Kurultai is going to move up. And what we do with this is we take our Mangadai that have been healing up, and they're going to go find raids on Woodline, potentially his gold, or this other Woodline if he's rotated. His gold should be finishing up soon, so I was expecting it to go to another gold shortly. And for some reason I thought this was his Kurultai, but it was actually his deer stones. We're going to snipe another villager here, which is nice. And we just commit to this fight here. It's a good fight for us. We just have to be careful that we are on the edge of our Kurultai buff. So we can fight this a little bit longer, but we do need to back out. This Keshik's going to chase us, which is fine. And we commit here for a little bit longer, but we do have to back out. Some Keshik, there's some spearmen, still a decent amount of archers and crossbows, so we don't want to stick around under without our Kurultai buff here. Especially since we have a bunch of production. We have 5 stables pumping at this point, right? So we're in a pretty good spot. As well as our trade is finally kind of establishing itself. We're up to 9. Then we charge in here again. And this is a really good fight for us actually. It might not look like the best fight here. This is a really good fight for us. Ram is jerking around, not getting much damage, and yes, our cavalry is basically all dying here, but they trade really well against these archers. And so we're able to sweep basically this army, and Sicily still has a really strong army, but they must be rallying from his base. And this second wave of units shows up, and we're just gonna fall back here. Now we do a little bit of a mess up here. We want to go onto his gold. I expected his gold to be moving either to this back one or this front one. And that's where my combo's pathed over here, and I just got sidetracked and forgot to have him up and around once I see that army. Because this gold I knew was going to be finishing up, which it is as you can see. And we're just going to keep pumping cav, whether it be horsemen and keshiks or whatever. And we do get this free crossbowman, which is nice. And we're catching him literally as he rotates, which is just huge, right? 7 villagers on a stat readout is the same as 10, 11 villagers on gold. Denying that is a pretty big deal. And we do accidentally let the stat readout drop. We probably just could have stayed there and kept doing a lot of damage, but not end the world. This army here is kind of scary, but the difference is we have Kurultai. It does try to snipe this villager, but we're okay. And we have to remember here, this is still 50% Keshik, 50% horseman. So it's not like we're, like, yes, there are spearmen mixed in here, but our Keshik will trade one-to-one against those decently. And we have managed to pick 2 relics up by the way at this point, so we're not like super behind on relic count. I'm gonna leave these guys back here, but they did their job in terms of delaying our opponent's goal transition, which he's probably going to now, right? And he commits to this push on us here, which we're gonna be able to clean up, right? Especially since we have again 5 stables. Now up to 4 ranges. We are dropping a Seized Workshop and another archery range. And Siege Workshop is because since he's insisting on going so much infantry, getting Springwoods in the next year is actually a really strong comp. So we clean this up. Yeah, we have only Mangudai left in the army, so we do have to fall back here. And he's living on relic gold basically here. And so what we're gonna do is his army is left. He's gonna be regrouping. So we're gonna take the army and we're gonna go to the north, and then we're gonna go wrap around and hit this gold because it's almost guaranteed that he's gonna commit back to this gold since his step readout is there. That's what makes the most sense here. We have a ton of stone, so we're just trying to get our Springwood upgrades into our outposts at this time. 4 of them. We did notice we had like 1,000 golds floating, so that's why we do that. We could probably take a monk to go capture. Outpost is going to upgrade and it's going to start shooting these guys, which is great. And we're going to start burning down these deer stones. 20 minutes of gold is incoming. We've got 11 villagers on gold, so this will be a really good raid. Production staying the same. We've dropped a bunch of pastures. See, we're really heavy on food now. And we catch him over here with 3 crossbows. Just a mop up. And his tower is almost done. And he pulls his villages before it finishes. I think that might have been a mistake. Either way though, this army gets mopped up here. You can see our income per minute is really strong here. And this army gets wiped up here. So he taps out at this point. And yeah, we basically would push with this army, stop making army, we would go to Imp behind this those couple of good fights and his gold denial here. So it's just a good little match to showcase you guys that, like, you know, the opening in terms of Mongols is pretty important, how you place and protect your stuff. And then the micro involved is really important to execute cleanly, which I didn't do. But even so, like, if you can get in raids behind the scenes, equalize villager numbers, get some trade in, take some good fights under curl time, stuff like that, you can still kind of flip the match around. So that's pretty much it for this video, guys. It's going to be a short one. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you all on the next one.